Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Van Dingo. Hello, fellow van builders. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Today, we're going to do a really quick and easy install on some ditch light brackets. These came from Go Rhino, and they're expensive, but very simple and easy to install and get the trick done. Nice thing about them is that you get passenger and driver right into the casting of the metal, so it's tough to screw it up. So let's get into it. So when I say expensive, these were 50 bucks. And in the scope of things, maybe it's not that much, but for me, given what they are, and there was no hardware that came with these, and actually no instructions either, that was more spend than I think the value that they're bringing to the party. So it's a nice bracket. I give them credits for that, but at the same time, they could have taken a step further and kept the customer in mind. So it just pops on right like that. Super simple. And I'll show you the other side when we're done, but I went to the hardware store in order to get all the necessary hardware for this application. And we're going to put a washer, a lock washer, and a nut. And by the way, on a Sprinter, that's an M8 stud sticking out there. So this is all M8 metric hardware. So I'll crank that on. And don't be surprised if things go a little slow at first when you start cranking the screws. Looks like I just lost a piece. There it is. Wait one. All right, folks, I went a bit of a detour from what I had before here on the hardware. So we still have the washer because we've got a bit of a gap in the casting. I took off the split washer, the lock washer, and went to a nylon nut here. And the reason is because this stud has got a bit of a gap before you start biting into the threads. And with the split washer and everything I had on there, I wasn't biting into the threads. So I've switched over to this, and I think it's gonna work. Yeah, that looks like that's gonna work. So let's get the other one on there. Now let's move over to the other side. Let's take a look at this perch. So I'll close the hood and see how it looks, and then we'll move over to the other side and install that side. All right, let's do the driver's side. We know we got the driver's side, as I said, because there's a D there. Really dummy proof, which is very good for me. And we're going to do washer and locking nut. Real easy install. So you don't really need directions, frankly, but be good to have at least an indicator with some customer service as to if you got a Sprinter van, you're going to need 8mm. and no hardware comes in the bag, and you know, etc. Be a little extra reasonable step of customer service, which I think used to be important, but maybe isn't so much anymore, which is sad. Oops, careful, let's not strip that. All right. So there's that passenger side again, and we just put in the driver's side right here. Too close. And it's a nice little perch for those cube lights that are coming next. Very, very subtle. All right, gang, it was a quick one. Thanks for joining me for the Go Rhino cube light, ditch light brackets that were mounted on this Sprinter van. And in this particular case, it's a 2021 Sprinter van. I got the Go Rhino brackets off of Amazon, and very simple install, as you saw. You know, just in my case, you got to run down to the local hardware store and get some washers and metric locking nuts, because I didn't happen to have them in stock, and away you go. So future video for me will be connecting up the wiring and routing that inside the van, and I'll be doing that for lights that are down low on the license plate bracket, these ditch lights, and then up top I've got a light bar as well, and those lights will come into the van. The wiring will come into the van for hooking up to an aux beam, and that'll be on a future video. Again, thanks for joining me. Give me a thumbs up, be good, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.